Breaking news this morning, Subaru to team up with Toyota on 3 new EV crossovers. We're going to dive into that to see what kind of vehicles they could be making with Toyota. If you enjoy this news today, make sure to smash the like button. And Subaru, okay, so here's the thing. Subaru's already teamed up with Toyota pre-EVs, right, with the GR86. Well, you could say the BRZ and 86, and then now the new BRZ and then the GR86. You also had them collaborating with the Crosstrek plug-in hybrid, which is no longer on sale. And then we know about the Solterra. Watch my review on the Solterra right now, talking about Ford losing money on EVs. If you can lease the Solterra for around $300 a month, they're probably losing money on that EV as well as Toyota at that point. But Subaru to team up with Toyota on 3 new, we're not talking Solterra here as one of them. We're talking about 3 additional EV crossovers through 2026. Guys, 2024 is halfway over. So 3 new EV crossovers between now and at the end of 2026. What in the world? So net income source. So they have just published their financial results as Q4 2024 fiscal year has just ended. And check this out. Net income doubled to $2.55 billion. And Subaru is adding production of both the hybrid and ICE version of the Forester in Indiana. Previously, I thought the Forester was only built in Japan. Yeah, if we go to the 6th generation Forester, it was slated to be in the Gunma plant over in Japan. If we go back to the previous generation, the 5th gen, Thailand and Japan and the Gunma plant were the only places the Forester was being built. This is a big change for Subaru, now bringing the Forester in hybrid and ICE. So all the variants of the Forester now will be built in the United States of the Indiana plant. Will we still get some Subaru Foresters from Japan? And the answer is we'll have to wait and see. So essentially, Subaru needs to team up with Toyota here. The EV market is extremely fickle. They're a smaller company. They don't have as much cash, research, and development to just plow into EVs. So they're essentially just being a little sucker fish right now onto Toyota, taking what Toyota is able to give them while they pay Toyota essentially for a little bit in the research development. But Subaru is the one that's kind of getting the big benefit here, as they're just able to rebadge Toyotas and put a Subaru badge on their EVs. CEO Osaki says, at the moment, it is quite difficult to predict how things will go from here with EVs. There's a huge risk for us to go at it alone in this field. We have held talks with Toyota and have agreed that it is better to reduce risk through joint development. And he's also not sure what they're going to do with home-built EVs here in the United States. It sounds like they would just rather team up with Toyota so they can qualify for the EV tax credit instead of plowing tons of money to build their own EVs stateside. Does that mean we won't see any EVs come from Subaru that are built in Japan? And the answer is, well, I think we will. I think we will see EVs built for Subaru from Japan that make it to the United States, but it's probably going to be after 2028 or so when they start building their next-gen platforms. Now, Subaru should be using Toyota software, like Mazda will be using Toyota's Arene software-based vehicle software in the near future. All right, and bridging their new EV lineup, Subaru will deploy its next-gen hybrid system to its Crosstrek in addition to the Forester. Heck yes, we need more hybrids from Subaru. Actually, they have none right now, and no one really wants the Solterra unless you get a great lease deal, $300 a month. That's before taxes, of course. Honda, Toyota are crushing it right now on the backs of hybrids, and this is great news. It looks like Subaru will actually beat larger company Nissan to the market here in the United States with a next-gen hybrid system. Now, what can we expect from this? Well, from my understanding is that this won't be what Mazda is supposed to be doing with the CX-50. In theory, that's just Mazda copying and pasting or just plopping in like a Toyota hybrid system and engine into a Mazda. I don't think that's what's happening here. This will be Toyota technology built with a Boxer engine, and you'll also have symmetrical all-wheel drive here. So it'll be definitely its own flavor of hybrid system for the new Crosstrek and Forester. Now, what about the Outback? Well, it's almost guaranteed to get a hybrid at some point in time as well. So stay tuned for that. But this is great news to have confirmation that the Crosstrek hybrid will finally give competition to the Corolla Cross hybrid, which really doesn't have any competition right now with hybrids and that subcompact crossover segment. On the Forester, they need this. This is their cash cow right now. This is their number one seller. Previous years, it was the Crosstrek, but the Forester now has resumed its role as its number one seller, even outselling the Outback. So if we can hybridize these Foresters, more power to Subaru and to the customer for getting that choice, and also better competition. Toyota, Hyundai, Kia, Honda, some of the best hybrids out there right now. Now we have new competition coming from Subaru. Hopefully it's within the next year. I'm hearing 2025 for the Subaru hybrid Forester. To better supply the popular Forester, the brand best-selling nameplate, like I mentioned, Subaru will add production of both hybrid Forester and traditional gasoline version to the company's Indiana factory. And it looks like they will also still be manufactured at its main production hub in Japan. Interesting. You know, Mazda's kind of wishy-washy with that, with some of their models like the CX or the Mazda 3. Some of them come from Japan, some of them come from Mexico, and it's kind of confusing. You don't really know where your vehicle is coming from. That might also be the case here with the Subaru Foresters. They want more volume, it sounds like. And so they're adding production here in Indiana while also still bringing their Japanese built models over. US sales of the Forester rocketed 60% to almost 50,000 units in the January through March quarters. So they're on pace for about 192,000 units, just shy of 200K. It'll be interesting to see if they're able to break 200K with the Forester. And localized US production of next-gen hybrid system will start around 2026. Okay, that's news to me. I thought it was going to be 2025. It looks like it is now 2026. So the new Forester redesign, the sixth generation, we won't see hybrids of this guy until 2026. So 2 years after the introduction here. So that is a bit of a bummer, if you ask me. We're still lamenting the loss of the Subaru Legacy. This is the last model year of 2025. They're saying because of that, there's now production room opening for more Forester models. I think that's a good thing. Osaki says we're going to make EVs alongside combustion engine cars, and they already have plans to expand their hybrid product lineup. Well, that probably means, how I'm reading it, outside of the Crosstrek and Forester. Don't be surprised if we see it in their really well-selling Outback. Ascent would be awesome to have a hybrid. That would fix a lot of its issues for me. Just bring the pickup truck back. Bring the Baja back, a little hybrid to go against the Maverick. No one's doing it. I still don't understand why no one's competing with the Maverick right now. The Santa Cruz doesn't have a hybrid, and it's just not as functional in my opinion. So Osaki said he is sticking with Subaru's long-term goal of getting half of its Subaru's worldwide volume, 600 units, from full electric models. Subaru sold 14,000 in the calendar year 2023 out of the 852,000 vehicles delivered globally. So they're at 852. They want to get to 1.2 million, I think, by 2030 or so. And by 2030, they're saying half of Subarus will be fully battery electric. Subaru plans to roll out 4 electric crossovers by the end of 2026, including the Solterra. So that's 3 additional EV crossovers. And after that, it plans to add 4 more EVs by the end of 2028. So let's go look at Subaru's lineup real quick. We have the Ascent. Okay, so we'll have an EV version of the Ascent. So we'll have a 3-row crossover. That's one of the 3. I guarantee that's one of the 3. Toyota's building the electric Highlander, probably in the Kentucky plant by the end of next year. So the Ascent, the Ascent EV is probably one of them. So we have one. This is also possible. Late last month, Toyota was talking about its Indiana plant. Remember, Subaru's only plant in America is in Indiana. But there's also a Toyota plant in Indiana, in Princeton. And we're talking, guys, an additional 3-row crossover. So not only could we have an Ascent EV, we could have a brand new 3-row crossover EV for Subaru, which is a rebadged vehicle here. Toyota is preparing an assembly of an all-new 3-row BEV electric SUV in the United States. And from my understanding, this is supposed to be larger, essentially Grand Highlander EV, compared to the standard 3-row EV that we have built in the Kentucky plant, just south of there. All right, so we could have 2 3-row EVs from Subaru, essentially rebadged Toyotas, and there's nothing wrong with that. You'll have the Solterra still, and that leaves, we still have one more by 2026. So my guess is that it would be smaller vehicle, a subcompact. So what do we have from Toyota that is a subcompact EV crossover? And it is this guy. Actually, I debuted this for you guys at the LA Auto Show a couple years ago when they debuted the new Prius. This is the BZ Compact SUV. Its name changes depending on where you're at in the market, but this design's incredible. So Subaru would be coming with their own version of this in theory if they're able to make it here stateside. Now, there's also rumors going on that the RAV4 is supposed to get an EV variant with the next generation. Next generation RAV4 will be debuted by the end of this year. It'll go into production either into this year or by spring of next year, kind of following what the Camry did, right? I would say the compact EV that sits maybe a little bit under the Solterra is going to be this, or maybe a RAV4 EV rebadge. But the Solterra, I don't think is long for this world. I think maybe they finish that vehicle off by 2026, and then they have just better offerings from Toyota and Subaru, as we know. Like the BZ4X is creeping into the image here, saying, "Hey, I know you're talking about me." It's like, no one's talking about you, unless you can get a good lease deal on it. So yeah, I think this is a possibility here as a rebadged Subaru, and then 2 3-row EVs. Now, I was considering an EV sedan like this vehicle, which is already on sale in China. This is the BZ3, but this vehicle is a joint venture with BYD. And the announcement said 3 additional EV crossovers. This is a sedan, so there's no way we would see a Subaru Legacy EV in the near future, or an Impreza EV either. I'll see you guys down below on Subaru teaming up with Toyota. Is this good news? I think, yeah, it's good news. EVs aren't that compelling right now. It's crazy how fast the market's shifted. Depends how good Toyota can make these next generation EVs. If they're pretty much like different sizes of the Solterra, it's an immediate fail. But I think more people from Subaru would appreciate hybrids permeating the lineup and greater availability there. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. This video went on longer than I expected. So have a great day and peace.